A minus 5% pass rate over expectation. The Texans have lost their top two wideouts. They have run the ball at the sixth highest rate in football, and they'll do it again, most likely. So I like this one here. It is time for me to put my money where my mouth is. And, well, I can't really do that, actually. I live in Georgia. It's illegal. But I will put my name stamp of approval on some propage here. And we are regressing to the mean right now. We are literally right where I thought I would be at the end of the year, so at 65%. So we just need to maintain, which I think we'll roll with a 60 to 65% clip most likely. And the specials are doing very well. The Monday night special, the Thursday night special. Without any further ado, let's get into it. And actually, I'll rank these myself. I'm going to rank Garrett Wilson as my top one tonight, even though our guy Matt disagreed with that just now. 61.5 receiving yards for Garrett Wilson, who is absolutely heating up here. 3 100-yard performances in his last 4 games. If you recall last week, I know our guy Michael Cohen recalls this, but I was very into, I believe he does, Garrett Wilson. I don't think I got on to that until after we signed off on Friday, unfortunately, but I did have that up at fantasypoints.com, and he crushed it with 8 targets, 5 grabs for 113. He's got 5+ catches and 8+ targets in 7 of his last 8. One thing that's kind of a negative is he ran 72% of his routes last week out wide with Alan Lazard out, and the Texans are pretty stingy back there. They've got Lassiter and Stingley back there at corner. They are down Jimmy Ward at safety. Wilson last year in this matchup did get 8 grabs for 86 with a touch. So I do like him because, as I've mentioned, the Texans have allowed the most deep targets in football at 43. So that's a good sign. And I also think that Davante Adams, as I stated earlier, looks like a shell of himself. Now, a national television game, maybe he does something of note. Obviously, big-time players usually show up on big-time games in the national spotlight, but he looks terrible, quite frankly. So I'm going with the young legs in Garrett Wilson. I'll also go with Dalton Schultz. If you were watching last week, that was one of my top plays. It did win, thankfully. And he is coming on a little bit here. Season high 52 yards last week on 4 receptions, 6 targets. Jets are not great by the numbers in terms of the matchup. They are giving up the 10th fewest yards per game to tight ends. But, again, necessity is the mother of invention here. Like, Dalton Schultz is going to have to be essentially the third receiver at worst, maybe even the second receiver for C.J. Stroud. And last week they gave up 8 grabs for 60 yards to Patriot tight ends. It's not really a deadly combo there. Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper on 10 targets. And again, you know, Stroud's O-line is a problem. He's going to have to get the ball out quickly and in the intermediate short area to Mr. Dalton Schultz. I like that one as well. And then speaking of Stroud, here's one that I feel pretty good about. This is one where you got to get a little weird, but under 20.5 completions, as I've mentioned here, they are a big-time run funnel is what the Jets are. Basically, a minus 5% pass rate over expectation. The Texans have lost their top 2 wideouts in Nico Collins and Steph Diggs. They have run the ball at the 6th highest rate in football in Joe Mixon's healthy games. And they'll do it again, most likely. So I like this one here, under 20.5. I think both teams are going to run the rock and chew up plenty of clock here. So I'm feeling good about that. So those are my 3. We also do have couple of leans that we can pop up there, and somewhat related. Joe Mixon over 83.5. He'll probably go over. But again, one of the reasons I don't take overs is I inherently have horrible luck. That has always been the case. So I worry about these bigger numbers because while maybe the matchup's good and I feel like he's going to go over, my luck, the guy will get hurt and he won't get it. So that's why I don't do it. But it's a lean if you want to get frisky. So is Dalton Schultz. He's either catching 4 or 5 balls tonight, or more. So I would venture to lean for sure that it would be over, and we can go over 4.5 grabs there. Then Tyler Conklin over 23.5. I totally agree with the Ruckert angle. I didn't see a Ruckert prop on DraftKings, but if there was, I would take it. Oh, by the way, you know what else I would take? Cade Stover. It's probably like, if there is one out there, I'm sure there is. It's probably like 6 yards. I'll take the over for Cade Stover, who caught a couple of balls last week, which annoyed me because I was in on the Dalton Schultz prop. But it's neither here nor there. Tyler Conklin will go over 23.5. Well, I'm not going to officially make it as a pick, so I guess I'm not that confident. But man, 23.5 should be quite doable here. No Lazard again. Adams kind of looks like a shell of himself. He actually did produce in the matchup last year, believe it or not. I'm not sure. I can't even remember who the hell the quarterback was. Wasn't on Aaron Rodgers, but he had 4 grabs for 57 in the matchup as well. And then another lean, I guess it's for entertainment purposes only, but I don't like Davante Adams to do anything special with receiving yards and catches and all that because he looks terrible, but he is still Davante Adams, and they want to get him going. And Tyler Conklin has scored twice the last 2 games, which is kind of fluky. So Davante Adams and anytime tutty, I'm feeling a little bit here at plus 135. If you are so inclined, those are some leans here. It's time to pop out a Thursday night special. It is brought to you by GBank, the official bank of VSiN. The GBank Visa Signature Card is your best bet, delivering 1% cashback rewards on eligible gaming transactions and 2% cashback rewards on all other eligible purchases. For more information, head to VSiN.com/GBank. That is VSIN.com/GBank, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. I'll do a quick reset here on the propage. I feel good that I'll go 2-1 on these at least. Dalton Schultz over 41.5 receiving yards. Garrett Wilson over 61.5 receiving yards. And CJ Stroud under 20.5 completions. But I love the Garrett Wilson one in particular. Houston giving up the second most targets on downfield passes. Garrett Wilson, fresh legs, much younger, obviously, than Davante Adams. So let's go with him making a big play in the game, at least one big play. And if you want to look at an alternative total here for a big payout, I am going to go with as the Thursday night special, Garrett Wilson, 90-plus yards, over 90 yards receiving for Garrett Wilson. And that's a plus 285. You're welcome.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at 0 cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.